Till now, we have just seen the basic concepts like storage classes, loops, conditional statements, arrays, and basic pointers concept. Okay. Now, in today's session, we are going to discuss about the logical part behind the programs. How to identify the logic behind any program. This is what today's topic of discussion. Now, suppose you have to print this star. How do we print this star? There is one way. We can use printf and print our star. Suppose you have to print two stars. Now there are two ways to print this pattern. Okay, either we can add one star here and it will print two stars, or we can use this way also, one star and printf second star. So using two steps we can print two stars. Now suppose this number is increased to 500 stars. So as a programmer, the question is this doable? And if I add one more zero or two zeros, is this doable? Can we do this 5000 times? So for that purpose, we have the concept of loops, which reiterate the same steps again and again. As we have discussed various types of loops in our previous lectures, in today's session, we have to use this concept to print the patterns like this. And how to identify the logic behind this pattern is what our main core focus of this lecture. And suppose we have to print the reverse of this, we will also see this pattern in today's session. Now to do this, we have to dive into the editor, okay, and we will execute this. This is a Codify.com's IDE. Here all your tasks will be saved automatically, and this is also collaborative. If another person or your friend connect with the same link in the browser, you can connect and write the programs collaboratively. Okay, this is the main focus of this editor, was to create this collaborative environment. Okay, so without wasting much more time, let's print our first pattern, which was 5 stars, 5000 stars. Okay, suppose we have to print one star, we can write printf star. If I want to print 10 stars using loop, I can do this. If I is equal to 0, initialization I less than equal to 10 and I plus plus. Okay, 9. Why 9? Because there is 0. So if we count the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and 9, the 10 numbers will be there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10. We have to print 10 stars, so condition here will be 9. Okay, 10 stars in one line. Now we have to change the number here from 90 to 100 to print the 100 stars. So this is doable, right, as a programmer. Now to print the patterns like this, we have to follow some steps. Okay, the first step here is find the number of steps. 1, 2, 3 and 4. How many times we have to run the loop irrespective of the star patterns. Number of steps is our main concern. So in this program we have 4 steps. Step number 2, print star. Print the star. Now in the first step there is 1 star, in second step there are 2 stars, in third step there are 3 stars, and in the fourth step there are 4 stars. So we have to connect this logic with these steps that we will see in the programming part. And fourth step is end of program. This is how simple it is. Number of steps. Second step is print the stars, and the third step is end the program. Now how do we do this in programming? So the first step here is print the number of steps. I is equal to 0. We will write I less than, we want 4 steps, so we will write 3. 1 less than, because the index is starting with 0, our job is done. Now the second step is to print the stars. For that I will write 1 star only. So what this program will do now is it will print 1 star 4 times. How? Let's execute this now. I is equal to 0, I less than 3 means 0 is less than 3, condition is true. Now we will go for this, j is equals to 0 and j is less than 0, so it will print 1 star. Okay, now j is equal to 1, 1 is less than 0, 1 is less than 0, no, so it will come out of this loop. Okay, now this loop, I is equal to 1, 1 less than 3, yes, condition is true. J is equals to 0, 0 less than 0, print star. J is equals to 1, 1 less than 0, no, come out of this loop, come here. I is equals to 2, 2 less than 3, 2 less than 3, yes. J is equals to 0, j less than equal to 0, 0 less than 0, print star. Come here, j is equals to 1, 1 less than 0, false. Come out of this loop, I is equals to 3, 3 less than 3, yes. J is equals to 0, 0 less than 0, print one more star. J is equals to 1, 1 less than 0, condition false. Come out of this loop, I is equals to 4, 4 less than 3, condition false. Come out of this loop and end the program. So this is how this program was executing. Now what we want is, when this 1 star was printed, when I is equals to 0, 0 less than 3 and j is equals to 0, 0 less than 0, we have printed our first star. Now when this star was getting printed, we want it on to be the next line, and when this star was getting printed, we want it to on to be the next line. So whenever the star is getting printed and coming out of the loop, we have to add this new line character to get it on the next line. So we get the 4 steps, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now the second step is we have to print the star based on the steps. Okay, we 4 times it is running. Now on the in the first step we want 1 star, in the second step we want 2 stars. Okay, so the number of stars are getting incremented. So for the when I is equals to 0, we want 1 star. When I is equals to 1, we want 2 stars. 2 star, so we have to write 1 so that 0 and 1 will be 2. Okay, when I is equals to 2, we want 3 stars. When I is equals to 3, we want 4 stars. 0, 1, 0, 1, 2 and 3. 4 stars. 1, 2, 3 and 4, like this. So here, as we can see, for first step we want 0, second 1, like this number is changing based on the number of steps. So when I is equal to 0, if I write I here, this will be 0. When I is equal to 1, this will become 1. When 2, it will become 2. So based on the number of steps, this condition is getting changed and the stars are getting printed based on that pattern. So this is how you can print the stars pattern and connect the logic with the number of steps. Only thing you have to remember here is the first loop which is there is always for the number of steps, how many steps you have to print. Now you have to connect the stars logic with the number of steps. Okay, you have to connect this star pattern based on the number of steps, and mostly either this or this value gets changed and it gets connected with this number, so that we can satisfy the condition and print the patterns like this. Okay, now the next and the third program which we are going to discuss is this pattern, so that you can get the idea behind complex patterns also, like this. Now to print the patterns like this, you have to do three things. Step 1, number of steps: 1, 2, 3 and 4. 4 steps. Step 2, print the number of spaces: 3 spaces here, 2 spaces here, 1 space here and 0 space here. So as you can see, the number of spaces are getting decremented: 3, 2 and 1, and the number of stars are getting incremented: 1, 2, 3 and 4. So you can connect this. Step 2 is print spaces, and the step 3 is print star, and the step 4 end the program. So this is how easy it is. Number 1, 4 steps. So let's execute this. 4 steps. Integer I is equals to 0, I less than equal to 3 and I plus plus. The next step is print the number of spaces. So here we have 3. So for now we will print only 0 space. J is equals to 0, J less than equal to 0, J plus plus. Printf space. So space bar between these two codes will print the space. This is second step. Third step is print the star. So we have to write the loop here, because the things are getting iterated, right? 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star. Spaces are also getting iterated, and it's getting in loop 3, 2, 1, 0. So for that we need a loop. Integer k is equals to 0, k less than equal to 0 for now, and k plus plus. Printf start. Okay, now let's execute this. When I is equal to 0, 0 less than 3, j is equals to 0, 0 less than 0. Okay, condition is true, print one space. It has printed the space. J is equals to 1, 1 less than 0. Okay, 1 less than 0 condition is false, it will come here. K is equals to 0, 0 is less than 0, print 1 star. It has printed this star and this space. Now k is equals to 1, 1 less than 0, condition is false, it will come out of this loop and go into this loop, and I is equals to 1, 1 less than 3, okay, condition true, j is equal to 0, j less than 0, print space. It has printed this space, and k is equals to 0, 0 less than 0, print star. It has printed this star and this space. K is equals to 1, condition false, come out of this loop and execute the main loop. In this way we are getting the pattern. Now next step here is, whenever this space and star is printed, we want this part to be on the next line and this part on the next line, so that we get the identifying pattern. So here I will write \n when the stars are printed and the space is printed. Okay, after this we want it on to be the next line. So I have done this. Now we have 4 steps almost there. here. Now when I is equals to 0, we want 3 spaces. Okay, so what we can write here is, if I write 3 here, it will print 3 spaces for me, right? 0, 0, 1, 2. So we have to write 2 here to get the 3 spaces. Okay, 1, 2 and 3 spaces and 1 star. But we want it on the first step only. On the second step we want only 2 spaces, not the 3 spaces. So for that we have to decrement this to 1 for the second step and 0 for the third step. So you have to understand this value is getting changed based on the number of steps. When the step is 1, we want only 3 spaces. So what we can do is, we can write something like this: 2 minus I. Now check this. When I is equals to 0, 2 minus 0 is 2. So 0, 1, 2. 3 spaces. When I is equals to 1, 2 minus 1, which is 1. So 0 and 1, 2 spaces. When I is equal to 2, 2 minus 2. Like this, you can print the spaces. Okay, so 3 spaces here, 1, 2 and 3, 2 spaces here, 1 space here and 0 space here. Now spaces part is done. Now we want to increment the stars based on the number of steps. Now when I is equals to 0, we want 0 stars, or we want 1 star. When I is equals to 1, we want 2 stars. So based on the number of steps, we can change the stars here. 3 spaces, 2 spaces, 1 space and 0 space, and like this stars are also getting incremented. For when I is equals to 0, there is 1 star, because 0 less than equal to 0 is 0, it will print 1 star. When k is equals to 1, condition will become false. When I is equals to 1, it will print 2 stars, 0 and 1, like this. When I is equals to 2, it will print 3 stars, 0, 1 and 2, like this. I hope you got the concept how to identify the logic behind the patterns. If you really got the concept, do subscribe and like. And I have dropped some links in the description below. You can check it out to explore more. Thanks for watching me today.